guys, King of Trimass here. Today I'll be your judge, your jury, and your analyst. And today I bring to you a budget team. Behold, this triple starter team, which I featured before, has actually taken some of my friends and some other people to legend. And it actually reigns as the top 4 team. Literally, number 4. As you see here, number 4, yes, triple. Only 10k dust for 3 for the moves. Yes, they're low legacy, but you can probably have a friend trade these Pokemon. It's really cool to see the triple Charizard, Swampert, Safe Switch, and Venusaur to still be very, very good in Ultra Premier Classic. Reign Supreme does really, really well. As you see here, you can use it uses Fire Spin Charizard, so you don't need to use an Elite TM for Dragon Breath or for Wing Attack. I like using a Fire Spin version as 2. You'll see me take advantage of Fire Spin in this Shoutcast and how I use it to kind of be like creative and snipe down opponents. Just because you can farm down Abomasnow XL, any of the steel bug types like Scizor or Scavalier, you can one-shot them or farm them down with Charizard, which is absolutely great. And at the same time, Charizard does great. I mean, Community Day moves are overpowered, like literally. At one point, Hydro Cannon was, for those of you that don't know, I haven't been playing PvP for a while, Swampert's Hydro Cannon was actually nerfed because it was just too dang good. And despite it being nerfed, it's still one of the most powerful Pokemon in Open Ultra League and Ultra League, despite the fact that it's been like, what, 2 years and some change or something like that? But yeah, it's good. As you see here, this team has a ridiculously high threat score. However, it takes advantage of the fact that with expert energy management, with good energy, with expert, well, you don't even need expert, with good energy management, and with the sheer amount of damage that Legacy Community Moves do, as in Blast Burn, Hydro Cannon, of course, Frenzy Plant, you too can come out with a ton of W's with this team. As you see, yes, your potential threats, I do face some, well, I face, what you call it? I face Dragonite, I believe, and Trevenant in the Shoutcast, and even Walrein, and I come out with dubs. So yeah, this team is nuts. It does well, and if you're really strapped for, Stardust, yet you want to be competitive Ultra Premier Classic and get your Pikachu Libre, this team is for you. Now for my mental health tip for the day, it's called Gambling Edition. Since we're talking about expensive right now, me and my friends were having a conversation about raiding, and raiding can be very expensive. If you're mindlessly spending raid passes without a second thought to it, and it's hurting your finances, you may have gambling addiction when it comes to Pokemon Go. This is something that gacha games really take advantage of. If games like Genshin Impact, Brave Frontier, if y'all know what I'm talking about, you roll for characters in the game. Unlike those games though, Pokemon Go doesn't have a system where you can get a guaranteed like hundo or something like that. So you may find yourself raiding thousands and thousands of raids to get that one perfect or that one shiny you wanted. And if you know it is financially irresponsible to do so, in your case, by all means, I've done it, everyone else has done it, but it doesn't break my bank. But if it breaks yours, then you might want to get some counseling. That or break the cycle, because you too may have gambling addiction. Of course, Niantic doesn't exactly address this. Shinies are technically gambling as well, or just shiny rates and eggs, because they force you to buy incubators and they don't disclose shiny rates. Now, fun fact about that. Legally, Niantic doesn't have to disclose it. You want to know why? Because Poké Coins aren't guaranteed and they can take away your account and your items at any given point. It's there in the terms of service. They don't tell us. So everyone complaining about, oh, Niantic should disclose shiny rates, they technically don't have to. A lot of people are using the loot box clause, but here's the thing. Unless they're deemed loot boxes or called loot boxes, like for other games, they have to put loot boxes for a reason. For Pokemon Go, they don't have to do that because they say you have a chance of getting a shiny, right? But in order for you to get that shiny, you have to buy Poké Coins. And so Poké Coins aren't guaranteed to you. So I was human resources, so yeah, legal kind of explains to me in my games and gaming stream, like, yeah, they can do that. And I'm like, I know people are raging, but yeah, I know it's unfair. I don't think it's ethical either, but it's what it is, and Niantic can get away with it. If they didn't, they would get sued already. But good luck to anybody that tries to sue Niantic, because unless it's like one of those property things, because they're a big company, and hear us Niantic, right? But they nerfed the incense thing anyway, so do they really hear us, or is it just for their pockets? I'll leave that up to you. But anyways, make sure y'all are spending your finances on good things and taking care of yourselves. Without further ado, this is the budget team for Ultra Premier Classic that happens to be a top 4 team, and it's still really good for Season 11. Alright, here are the battles. As you see here, This triple budget team, and God, some of these are just really well, one of them's nuts, I think. But as you see here, we get Charizard into Obstagoon. Obstagoon isn't necessarily a bad matchup against Charizard because you get outpaced in Night Slash, first of all. And two, if this thing boosts, it really sucks. So as you see, they don't boost, thank God. So I'm like, all right, cool. So what I'm gonna do here is what I usually do when I have Charizard versus Obstagoon. I'll try to bait first and then go for the Blast Burn. Hopefully you can grab both shields. As you see, I'm able to grab the shield, which is great. You can eat 2 Night Slashes pretty comfortably. As you see, my Charizard's IVs aren't the greatest in the world, but it's able to take 2 Night Slashes, and then it should be able to get to a Blast Burn. As you see, we're able to get a Blast Burn. If this goes through, I'm going to try to switch out, and then I'm going to try to snipe down for some fast move damage. As you see here, I send in Venusaur, and I am able to snipe down this Obstagoon, and then we get locked into Charizard. And I was like, oh, good sir, I'm glad you have a Charizard, except this is is that wing attack or is that air slash? My brain is like, this has got to be a Dragon Claw. And then I'm like, okay, I think this is an air slash Charizard. I'm like, why? If you're gonna use, you know, it's totally worth it to use the Elite TM, especially if you're gonna use Charizard already. As you see, yep, that's air slash. Yep, that's totally air slash. And as you see here, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be able to get to 2 Sludge Bombs. This will KO their Charizard, depending on your life choices, or you're gonna shield. So what do you choose? Do you choose life or do you choose death? Our opponent here chooses death, and we get a Swampert. As you see, with 1 HP in a Dream, even though I'm IV 214, my Venusaur is able to get to another Frenzy Plant. This should break the shield. And all we gotta do is we're gonna send in our own Swampert, and then we're gonna go to town. And I have 2 shields, so this is GG's. For the extra disrespectful, I go for the sack, and I was like, oh my God, they're gonna top left. They're gonna top left. Yeah, they totally top left, and I'm like, oh my God, that was dirty. I mean, it was dirty, but you know what? You gotta practice, and you know what I mean? I was even thinking about just, you know, let me just flex, and I was like, I did this, and then I, like, walked out, I, like, got off my sofa, and I was like, damn! Damn! I mean, 2 shields, but damn! Oh, God, yeah. I mean, don't do that to your opponent, guys. You know, be kind. I'm just kidding. You destroy them. Absolute destruction. Victory. All victory. Just victory. As you see here, we're going back into the battle. It's taking a while for me to go. And we get Kento 334, whatever that gear name is. We get Charizard into Dragonite, and we actually lose this. You lose this lead pretty dang hard. If it's Dragon Breath Charizard, you can come out with a W. But unfortunately, because we have Dragon Breath, we're just going to be able to we're just going to go for the Dragon Claws. I believe I shield 1 here, and then I'm going to go for 2 double Dragon Claws. I have to shield the second one, and I'm hoping you burn both of your shields. So what I want to happen here is that I want them to burn both of their shields, and I'm going to send in Swampert to be able to basically Hydro Cannon down Dragonite. Hydro Cannon is resisted, however, it does a decent amount of chip damage, and Dragonite's already hurt. So we got both shields, I send in Swampert, and my original plan is going to happen. This is definitely a Dragon Claw. I will shield 1, but I'm eat another one, and all I'm going to do is get a bazillion energy here to try and just take out this Dragonite, and then whatever is in the back. As you see here, I'm going to eat this Dragon Claw, overcharge 3 mud shots over, or 2, I believe. I think 2. And then I'm going to fire my Hydro Cannons. So I see 1, and then I'm going to fire, and then go a little more above, and then I'm going to fire the second one. They shouldn't be able to get to another one. Save that bubble there. Okay, Hydro Cannon goes off, as you see here. Get a little more energy, and then I fire. So I'm expert energy management equals win conditions, and let's see if we could pull off a win condition here. We take out the shiny Dragonite, we take out Barty, Puff the Magic Dragon, whichever one to call it, and then they send in an Excavalier. So I do something really dirty here. I go for the Earthquake, I'm able to get to it, and all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna send in Charizard to snipe you down with Fire Spin. So you jacked up. Earthquake goes off, I send in Charizard, snipe down the Excavalier, and my opponent is well, they're not mad, but I lost the lead hard as heck, sniped you down, send in the Venusaur, and they should top left, and that's GG's. You're like, yeah, you can flex pretty hard with this team, as you saw here. Yeah, dang, that was sexy. That was amazing. I hope y'all enjoy that, because that was really freaking cool. I was like, I would think you're gonna switch, but they actually didn't switch, and I was like, oh, well, you chose death. Losing the lead, but coming out with a win condition because we are creative. We do not stress. We use the subconscious, and that equals GG's. We finally win a freaking lead for once. Well, actually, we won. No, actually, Obstagoon technically isn't a winning lead. Depends if you're able to get a Blast Burn through or if they boost. We get Bisharp and a Charizard. This is likely going to be a Dark Pulse, so I don't shield here. As you see here, it is a Dark Pulse, but it does a hell of damage. I'm like, oh my god. And then we get a Gliscor. So, you already know what's going to happen. We're going to fire off the Blast Burn. They're probably not going to shield this, or if they shield, that's fine. And then we're going to send in Swampert, and we're just going to go for the Hydro Cannons. I'm predicting that they're going to try to get an Earthquake through shields, because that's my opponent's best win condition here. As you see, I'm being a little fancy with my Hydro Cannons this time around. Usually I'm not. I just do like this really rapid and furious fire spinning of doom, or like circle spinning of doom to get my moves off. And as you see here, we're going to shield the Earthquake, and we're freaking vibing right now. Earthquake goes off, and I'm just getting a little more energy before I fire Hydro Cannon. If they shield, that's fine, but theoretically you should let the Gliscor go, and that is a ridiculously good, that's a good shiny, by the way. And we get Trevenant, and I'm like, oh lord. So, this isn't necessarily bad that my opponent lost their Gliscor, because we're staring at a Trevenant here. Hydro Cannon goes off. I'm going to do as much chip damage as possible. However, Venusaur doesn't have a great match against Trevenant. Yes, Frenzy Plant does a ton of damage, so we're gonna have to come out with some fancy W here. Hydro Cannon goes off, and then we're just chipping away at Trevenant. I really think my opponent is overcharging a lot right now. I'm gonna let this go. I believe I do let this go, and then it's just going to, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna send a Venusaur with a shield, and then I try to sack Venus, and then I'm gonna try to catch with Charizard, or I'm gonna Frenzy Plant down here, and they catch the Frenzy Plant, which is perfectly fine. I don't mind it at all, because Bisharp is still pretty dang healthy. So as you see here, it takes a ton of damage from Frenzy Plant. I'm gonna send in Charizard, and all I'm gonna do is Fire Spin down. You are way too hurt, bro. I won't shield here. I mean, I shield here, but the Trevenant has to blow its energy because of the fact that these Fire Spins are gonna chunk. This, if this is a Seed Bomb, this doesn't kill because it's double resisted by Charizard, and that Fire Spin that goes through should equal GG's. Well, it does. It's not GG's because of 1 HP and a freaking Trevenant, but my opponent knows it's game over because all that's going to happen is one Vine Whip will KO their Trev, and that's GG's. That was freaking nuts. And by the way, that was 25. Yes, that was 2569. I hope y'all enjoyed that. Very nice. Nice. Next, we got Charizard into Swampert. This is the worst case scenario. So how the hell do you come out with a win condition? That's a very good question. I don't even remember. Well, the best case scenario here is that you send in Swampert. If you see Swampert, you send in your own Swampert, and then you try to win the mirror match. I will shield this. I am thinking this is Earthquake, but it's not an Earthquake. It's a Hydro Cannon. So I'm going to go straight for the Earthquake. My opponent likely won't shield this, so I'm like, okay, either that or I grab a shield. If they don't, it's great, because as you see here, this creates win conditions. As you see here, I will get Hydro Cannon down because they do win CMP. So, it's probably going to be Earthquake, despite the fact that it is. I'm like, oh no, it's a Hydro Cannon. And then I fire my Hydro Cannon. So I'm like, wait. So I'm going to undercharge completely here, and I want to get some extra energy back. I Hydro Cannon, and my opponent shields. I'm like, why? Why would you shield, sir? So then this is the Earthquake for sure. So you debated me with 2 Hydro Cannons, so that means you're going to go for 2 Earthquakes. So you're going to go for the Earthquake this time around, and it is the Earthquake. However, we're really hurt right now. So I call my opponent's Insta Swap, which is beautiful. My opponent goes for Cross Chop here, and I'm like, my brain is like, why would you Cross Chop, sir? So Cross Chop is here because I was way too quick. There was no way that was 7 counters. Other than that, my timing is off. Look for that PvP tips video on counting moves. That's going to come soon. That's my next PvP class I have lined up, and I can't wait for y'all to see it. They let their Machamp go, and they have a Charizard, and I'm like, oh, that's bad. However, I do have a move banked on my Swampert. So Sludge Bombs goes off, and I'm like, okay, if I get a move off here, possibly could get a move on because you never know because it's freaking Charizard. What I can do is I can send in Swampert, and then I'm vibing. So as you see here, Venusaur goes off. I combo into Swampert, fire the Hydro Cannon, and I might be able, because I might be able to actually get to another Hydro Cannon because they have so much energy. Hydro Cannon goes off. I combo in like a champion, and we do get to the Hydro Cannon. And I get off my bed, and I'm like, let's go! Let's freaking go, baby! With expert energy management, you two, despite the fact that you lose the lead, can come out with a win condition. And Charizard barely did any work this match. Dang. As you see, budget team can work really well. If you're really good at managing your energy shield advantage, or if you just strap for Stardust, if you are creative, you too can destroy. And God, that was sweet. I was like, when I got that win, I was like, oh my God, there's no way I got the dub. And Charizard has hella energy. And then we get a freaking Sirfetch'd into our Charizard. So yeah, we technically win this lead. Unless if this man is a man of culture, you will hit me with a Suburban. you will hit me with the 620-49 Hurricane. Well, yeah, 620-49 Mach Hurricane from the bowels of from the wing beneath your wings. And Celine Dion is an amazing artist, by the way. For those of you that know that reference, we can be friends too. And this is definitely a burp. I shield the burp. I call it. All I'm going to do is I'm going to farm down Fire Spin. This is great. Even though my opponent does have shield, I have a ton of energy on Charizard. I'm going to fire off the Dragon Claw, and I'm like, why did I bait? Because I'm probably banking that. My opponent's probably banking that I'm going to bait, and they do call the bait. So then I'm going to go straight for Blast Burn this time. I fire Shadow Claw because I'm like, okay, you know what? I won't be able to make it to a Blast Burn. They're probably going to shield this, and they do. And they're going to farm me down, which is terrible. But that's perfectly fine. Hopefully I can get to one more Dragon Claw, and unfortunately I am not able to. I send in Swampert, and I shield because I'm like, you're definitely going to ball out. I'm definitely going to hit with a freaking Hail Mary, Aaron Rodgers football, or in this case, it's a Shadow Ball. And then, as you see, I'm just going to attempt to farm down. I send in Venusaur, and I'm like, oh no, because okay, so this isn't necessarily that bad. However, my opponent does have a good advantage here because I just gave up Switch against a Walrein. They're probably going to shield though. I hope you shield because you need to take my Venusaur out. And for some odd reason they don't shield, and I'm like, why? Why wouldn't you shield that? Sir, why? Because all that's gonna happen is that all I have to do is farm down with Swampert and double up to negate your CMP because no Icicle Spear or Earthquake will KO me. All I have to do is double up on Hydro Cannon. You don't have enough injury on Gengar to catch me on CMP. So as you see, all I'm gonna do is farm down this big fat thick Walrus, double Hydro Cannon for the dub. And I'm like to my opponent, why didn't you shield that? Either way, I had a lot of control over the match, but despite that, your back row had counted me hard as hell. But with expert energy management, as usual with Swampert, this is GG's. I hope y'all enjoyed this shoutcast. As you see here, this team is nuts and will do wonders for you if you decide to use this triple budget team. Hope y'all enjoyed the battles, but all you need is 30k and 3 community day moves to be efficient in Ultra Premier Classic. And that's GG's. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. A lot of these battles were nuts. But as you see here, there's a lot of ways you can play out of losing leads or just force your way through your opponent's shields. Like I did here with Charizard with Swampert. I played this team before. I used it, I believe, in Season 9 too. So it's really good to see that this budget team is still able to take its reins and do a lot of damage in Ultra Premier Classic. Again, for those of you that don't have a ton of Stardust or all the XL Mons, this team can work really well for you in Ultra Premier Classic. And y'all likely have this, so hopefully this does help you out. Hopefully this does allow you to compete in Ultra Premier Classic despite the fact that you aren't level 40 or you just dislike XLs in general. That being said, will you do me a huge favor? For the YouTube algorithm, please like and subscribe. It's totally free and it really helps out the channel. You can easily do that, and you see next to Charmander, there's a sub box bottom right. Push your mouse over it, you can easily subscribe from over there. I really appreciate my current subscribers, really appreciate you guys, and I really appreciate all your support. With that being said, good luck on your Go Battle League sets. Hopefully you're ranked 20, and hopefully that Pika Libre you have is shiny. And I will see you guys on the next video.
That I made, all the things that I have craved, these are wild, cold,